Okay, so now let's focus today on certain skills. First of all, okay, if we go to the skills. Okay, so remember guys, we said that we have 7 types of introduction, from general to specific. And this is the type you usually use when you want to write your own essays. You start in general and then you specify the topic, and you must end with what? Remind me. Yes?
A thesis statement.
Excellent. Thesis statement. And I showed you an example from a session. The second type is anecdote, which is, a story. And remember that an anecdote should, how do I know that this introduction is an anecdote? What does it contain? What does it have?
Short story.
We have a character. Excellent. We have a
Story.
character, and it's telling us the story or something that happened with this character. Fine. And then we have historical background. When the writer talks about a historical event, okay, and usually we have a specific date, which is way in the past, okay, during the days of a certain king, during the war, etc. So we have a date which refers to something that happened back in history. Interesting facts and or statistics. We simply said that if a paragraph starts with a fact, as a certain survey or study or general information, it's an interesting fact, and it can be only interesting facts and statistics in case I see a statistic, which is the percentage. Okay, we talked about this, which is also called a statistical figure. Number 5, 6, 7, we said that a definition means when we have a word and it's followed by a sentence which defines it. Quote, the quote, and series of questions. Okay, and remember we said that the series of questions, they come at the beginning of the paragraph, not at the end. Okay, so if a paragraph starts with more than one question, it's series of questions. It's at the beginning, not the end, right? Is everything fine so far?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, and then we said that we have certain functions, because the question is mostly now related to the functions, and we said that for every function or purpose, what should we give? Yes?
Says, can you repeat the question?
I said, Omar, that as for the functions or purposes, I said that for every function or purpose, we should give what when we answer?
Evidence.
Evidence. Excellent, Hala. Evidence. So introducing the topic, grabbing or arousing the reader's interest, thesis statement, preparing the readers for a thorough discussion. Okay. Now, guys. Okay. And we talked also about the thesis statement, that where we can find it, it's usually the last sentence of paragraph 1. If paragraph 1 is a story or anecdote, then it's in paragraph 2. Okay. So this is a reminder of, whatever we talked about last time, which is the conclusion, right? Okay. The type of introduction. Now, let's go to the types of conclusion. Types of conclusion. All right. Here, if I want to refer to your own books, guys. Okay. So this is grade 11, your book. Okay.
Which page?
Is breaking, Habibi. Okay. So okay. Now, as for the conclusion, you see this part now, part 3, which is being highlighted now. Do you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, these are purposes of the conclusion. Okay, so the conclusion, which, as you all know, is the final paragraph of the reading selection. Of course, now we are talking about a normal reading selection. It's not, an essay. It's a normal reading selection, a comprehension skill. Now, the conclusion, which is the final paragraph, as you all know, of course, it signals the end of the essay or selection. Usually, it can sum up the main points. It can re-say the thesis, etc. All leaving the reader with a final thought. Now, what will happen? I will now open a certain file, as you're seeing now. Okay. And we shall call it types of conclusion. I shall now write the skill, explain it, and then at the end of this session, I shall send this file on the Zoom chat. Is this fine with you? So that you can copy later. Is this fine?
Yes.
Okay. Types of conclusion and their functions. Okay. So types of conclusion and their functions. Okay. First of all, what is the illusion when it comes to comprehension skill? I'll tell you something. First of all, hey guys. Okay. Sorry, the electricity was on and off again. Anyway. Okay. Okay, guys, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
it says.
Okay, good. The electricity was on and off. So let me share the screen. Okay. All right, guys. So I was saying that the difference between types of introduction and types of conclusion is that the same type of introduction may have different purposes. But in conclusion, every type of conclusion has only one function. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what does this mean? It means simply that the first type of conclusion is a summary. The last paragraph of a certain selection might end up by summarizing the main ideas of the reading selection. So the type is a summary. What is the function of the summary? Why does the writer mention the main ideas again at the end? To emphasize the main ideas of the text. Fine? So the first type of conclusion is the summary. What's the purpose? To emphasize the main ideas of the text. So every type of conclusion has one and only one function. Fine? It's not like introduction. Is this understand? Do you understand this? Is this understandable?
Yes, yes.
أستاذ أنا ما فهمت كتير.
Okay. I'll re-explain Shabaita. Let's say that in the introduction, let's say we have 7 types, right?
Okay.
Okay. When you want to answer the functions, you can choose any of the 4 functions you copied before. Fine?
Yes.
But in the conclusion, every type has only one function. So if the conclusion is a summary, the function is to emphasize or to concentrate or focus on the main ideas of the text. So every type of conclusion has only one function.
يا أستاذ كله تمام.
Okay, so the first type is summary. Of course, Mr. After I finish typing, okay, I send the file on the chat and we will discuss an example, don't worry. The second type of conclusion, is called a recommendation. Okay, recommendation, guys, it can either be suggestions, okay? The recommendation is suggestions or measures, solutions, okay? The writer might end with a certain recommendation, which means that he may end with a suggestion or measure or whatever, okay? When he, for example, says to solve these problems, government officials, let's say, should. And then he starts giving measures or solutions. This is called a recommendation as a type. In your opinion, why does the writer end with a certain recommendation or measures? Why does he end with them? What's the purpose? To offer what? To offer steps that might help solve or tackle a certain issue, right? So, type number three. We have so far summary, so far we have recommendation, and now type number three in the conclusion, it's called a personal comment. In the personal comment, the writer might end by giving his own opinion, or he can end with another person's opinion. Let's say he can end with the opinion, of a certain expert, a certain scientist. Well, in all cases, this is called a personal comment. What is the function of a personal comment? To offer an opinion, which is etc. And then you mention this opinion. Okay. Type number four, it's the open conclusion. Okay. The open conclusion. The writer might end with a certain question. Fine. He might end with a certain question. It's like in Arabic, the open conclusion, we call it here Fath al-Afaq in Arabic. So he ends with an open conclusion. Okay. Why? He wants to leave the readers with a final thought. It's like he wants to leave you as readers with a final thought and to open your horizons and, make you try to think about the topic. So he may end up with a question, or he may end up by saying, we are still trying to develop certain methods, or this problem hasn't been solved yet. So basically, guys, we have 4 types of conclusion, and every type has its own specific function. Is everything fine for so far?
Yes,
Is everything fine? Okay, good. Okay. Now, let's, take a certain example here. Let's take a certain example. Okay. If you want, let me open a file from my own if you want. Okay. Let's go together, for example, to a certain official exam, if you want. So grade 12 official exams, for example, any official exam. Do you see it now? Is it open for you?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Yes. Who wants to read? Please show your hands. Let me see some hands, raised. Who wants to read paragraph 9, which is the conclusion? Yes? Anyone?
Speak it عيد.
Dear, I said if anyone is interested in reading paragraph 9.
أنا بقرأه إذا بدك.
Yes. Why not?
Until we shut off the flow of plastic to the sea and cut down its countless uses in industry and aquaculture, the newest global threat to our ecology and environment will be far greater than that posed by global warming.
Okay. If I ask you, what type of conclusion does the writer use? What is he, what is the writer doing here?
Summarizing.
Summarizing? No. He is saying what? Think about it. Until we shut off the flow of plastic to the sea and cut down its countless uses in industry and aquaculture, the newest global threat to our economy will be far greater than posed by global warming. What is the writer doing here? Is he giving certain solutions? What is he doing?
He's stating the
Opinion.
His
Giving his
opinion. Excellent. The writer is sharing his own opinion. Okay. So when the writer shares his own opinion, what do we call this, guys? What type is it? Personal what?
personal.
Personal comment. Excellent, guys. So this is a personal comment. The writer here is giving his own opinion, okay? And to tell you something, how does he seem? Of course, later we will go into the tone, but what is the writer's tone in paragraph 9? How does he seem?
Serious.
But forget the serious, dear. The serious is never used in the official exam. So tell me a positive or negative, adjective. Let's say, for example, he is worried, scared. Okay. So don't use serious. Here he starts, guys, with until. When he says until we shut off the flow of plastic, this means that the flow of plastic is still what?
still
Happening.
Present.
Yes, it's still present. So the writer here is launching a certain threat. And this threat means if we don't do this, then the result is a new great global threat. Okay, so here the writer is simply sharing his own opinion. Okay, so when we want to answer, let me just, if you want, take this. Okay. Okay. Copy. Okay. Example. Okay, example. So how do we answer? The type of conclusion is a personal comment, right? What's the function? The writer is sharing his own opinion, which seems how does he seem? Worried. Seems worried and concerned about facing a new disaster in case plastic flow isn't tackled, right? Fine?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Okay, guys. Now, okay.